Okay, we're
Very
recording.
good. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. We are so excited to have Marla Mattenson join us today. She comes from Venice, California. We met last year, a year ago, in New York, and she's an absolutely phenomenal human being, and we're so happy to be able to offer you this masterclass this morning. And Marla, perhaps I'll begin with your bio and share that with everyone, and then I'll let you take over from there. Good?
Perfect. Yeah, sounds great.
So Marla Mattenson is a relationship and intimacy expert specializing in coaching couples in business, together with a desire to learn how to take their drive for success and growth mindset in business and apply it to invigorate their relationship, increase pleasure, joy, and passion, all while crushing sales. There she is. So over the course of her 25-year career, she's helped more than 12,000 couples, including Academy Award-winning actors, producers and directors, NBA players and coaches, Grammy Award-winning artists, and millionaire entrepreneurs. That's quite an impressive
quite a list.
Marla was also a national board-certified mathematics teacher in Los Angeles for 7 years, and she's currently on the board of directors of a charter school in Hollywood, consulting them on their sexual education programs for grade 7 to 12 students. She's coached couples, families, individuals, companies, as well as school culture and leadership. Using her neuroscience and mathematics background, Marla is uniquely gifted at working with entrepreneurial couples to transform their negative habitual patterns because the hidden power of successful businesses are the stable, loving relationships behind the scenes. I am so stoked for this, Marla.
Woo! That person sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I'm very excited to be here. I know that the two, that you have created this incredible community of just learners, people who just want to learn and be the best version of themselves in their life and their business, and really have an amazing impact out in the world. So I'm really honored to be here to contribute to this phenomenal community. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. So let's get into it. So the way I love to do these calls is, if you have a question that's burning inside or even just kind of bubbling up a little bit, or a thought, just go ahead and put it in the chat window. So don't feel like you have to, hold back or wait. Just go ahead and type any question you have in the chat window, or even a comment, because I will go back and look at those throughout this talk. And if I feel like I might answer it a little bit further down the line in the talk, I won't address it in that moment, but I will address certain comments that I wouldn't necessarily get to later in the talk. So definitely just err on the side of sharing, overshare, I like to say, and let your voice be heard in this call, because you're here live with us. So, you may spark something that I might say, hey, let me ask you another question about that, and we'll take you off a mute. Is that possible? We can take them off mute.
I think we need to keep it just in the chat, but
okay, good.
Yeah,
good to know that. Okay,
thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so I might want to chat with you back and forth for a moment, so just to get something out. So today's talk is about the neuroscience of up-leveling. Okay, and up-leveling what? Up-leveling your business and your relationship. So I'd first love to hear from everyone in the chat window. What do you think up-leveling means? What is that? What does it mean to up level? So just go ahead, and some of you might be on a phone and might be a little more challenging to type something, but think about it if you're not able to type it in this moment. And those who are, please type something in. What is up leveling? What does it mean to up level? It's kind of an interesting question, because we make a lot of assumptions about what that even means. What does it mean to up level in your business? And what does it mean to up level in your relationship? What's happening if you're up leveling? How do you know you're up leveling? Okay, good. Shelley, stepping into my greater potential based on new awareness, resources, skills, etc. Yes, exactly. Kate says, intentionally moving beyond your current skill level. Boom. Everybody's getting an A+ so far. Okay, who else has something to say? I think it's really important to start with this, because if we can arrive at a sort of a common understanding about what it actually means to up level, then we can talk about how to actually do it. Okay. So, but if I just say up level, that might mean something totally different to different people. Okay. So continue to, as you have more awareness, bring it into the chat window. Yeah, go ahead, Laura.
And I think is that Kristen? Breaking out of new paradigms and reaching new goals.
Okay, fabulous. So, everybody can keep typing in. What do these things have in common? Everybody is correct. Everybody's correct here. Okay. And if you were thinking one of those things and didn't get a chance to type it in, you're correct also. Okay. So what is in common with those three definitions here? And Bonnie says, take that part of life of focus to the quote, next level of growth. Yes. Yes. What do these things have in common? Everybody knows this. I'm just going to highlight it. It's outside of your comfort zone. Okay. Yeah. All of those things are beyond what you know. They're beyond your circle of comfort. They're beyond, any of the boundaries of what you're familiar with. And so whenever you cross that boundary, your own personal boundary of comfort, into the land of discomfort, now we're talking about the potential for up leveling. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to up level just because you're uncomfortable. It matters what you do with the discomfort while you're feeling it, while you're experiencing it, okay? And this is why many people never grow beyond their current circumstances, or they grow just enough, but they keep kind of coming back. They'll earn a lot of money and then they'll spend a lot of money, and they'll earn a lot of money and then they'll find, something came up, the car broke down, I have to pay for this. And they keep coming back to that same level because what's happening is you're not really growing beyond your comfort zone. Who would you need to actually be from a moment-to-moment basis in your life in order to sustain that up level and grow from there? Okay, this is the big question. How do you maintain the discomfort long enough to love it? To love it. Okay, Ernie, what are you feeling right there? I like that giggle.
Well, this is great because we started the year 2019 for Laura, Kelly, and I was our up-leveling year. And so we made it the theme of our year. And here we are in October. And so I'm giggling because everything that you're saying is essentially what we experienced over the course of the year. So there we go.
I might like being right. That's all I'm going to say. Anybody else in there like being right? Give me some love in the group if you like being right. Sometimes I just really like that. That might
and
also,
Marla, just so you know, we can I can put people on to talk or bring them on screen if we want.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, wonderful. So if you have a question, definitely, if it piques my interest and I feel like it will contribute to the conversation, I may ask if you want to actually do a little spot on coaching. And it's very, very important that that if you say yes to that you may experience an up level right now. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say. So if you have a question, definitely don't hold back, ask it. All right, let's get back into this. So I think we all are getting a sense that up leveling in your business means you're going to be uncomfortable. And if you can learn to love that discomfort, and I'll talk a little bit more about what discomfort actually means, because it comes in a variety of ways. If you can start to learn to love that discomfort and still take the action anyway, now you're rolling, okay? Now you're getting a sense of like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm in the flow, it's uncomfortable, I'm making moves, and eventually you start seeing results. Most people don't see results immediately and they start giving up, right? Oh, this is too painful, too hard. I don't want to reach out to people and ask for sales, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want everybody to come to me. Okay, so, we know that we need to get beyond that. What about in relationship? In relationship, what does it mean to up level in your relationship? I mean, all of these, what Shelley, Kate, Kristen, and Bonnie wrote could easily be for relationships. Stepping into my greater potential based on new awareness, resources, and skills. In relationship, new awareness. How are you showing up in your relationship? How's your partner showing up? Awareness means without judgment, just aware, just observing it, right? Greater potential based on resources. What are your resources for your relationship? Where do you have the time? Time is one of the greatest resources, right? Where's the time that you're putting, that you're dedicated into your relationship? Is it just like the remnants at the end of the day, whatever happens to be there? Or are you scheduling time with your partner, right? And skill set. Are you actively finding new ways to interact with each other? Are you finding new ways to actually up-level your communication skills? Have you taken Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg? It's a fabulous technique. Have you gone to tantric workshops together? You know, what are you doing to up-level your skill set in relationship? If you're not intentionally doing something, then you're unintentionally moving apart from each other. Okay, so this is really important, that as you're up-leveling in your business, you're also choosing to up-level in your relationship. Okay, all right. Everybody, just a reminder, you feel free to type any comments, any ahas, any questions, anything that is going on in your mind that relates to this. Please, you know, if you're going to talk about, you're going to have a tuna sandwich later, you know, keep that to the side. But anything else, put that in the chat window. Yeah, Kelly.
Well, I'm curious, Marla, and maybe you're going to speak to this, but I think, you know, one of the things that we find in the community, especially if we have individuals that are coming into the community, learning new skills, learning new awarenesses, but they're not necessarily there with their partner.
Yes.
And so, you know, some of the I don't know if concern is the right word, but some of the conversations that we hear is, now that I'm here, what do I do? Because now I'm going back to my relationship with all of these skills, all of this new awareness, and my partner recognizes something's different, but not knowing how to sort of bridge the gap.
It's a really important question. I'm going to address it briefly now, and then we'll get back to it a little bit later.
Okay.
So one thing to understand, if you're the one that's the entrepreneur, you're the one with the vision, and your partner is not an entrepreneur, or is not, you know, it maybe is an employee at a company or even a CEO somewhere else, but is not aligned with your vision because they're not in it on a daily basis. They're supportive, or they're happy for you, but they're not in it. One thing to understand is that the vision is yours. You were gifted with that vision. You were gifted with the ambition and the drive to make this thing come out into the world. And hopefully you're calling on source, and you're calling on all of your, you know, unseen world staff to bring that into the world. You're not just using your own personal energy for it, but you have to understand that the vision is yours, and nobody else can understand it in the way you do. So you cannot expect your partner to just be on board 100%. They won't be. So the idea is that you want to invite your partner into the positive expression of your business. Okay. So if you're always complaining about your business with your partner because you need to off gas and you're stressed about things, and your partner just happens to be there at the dinner table and you're just off gassing, your partner is going to get a negative experience of your business. So make it intentional that, especially when you're first starting, that you talk about the positive experiences of your business with your partner, so that they get excited about it, because they love you. They want to protect you. They want you to be protected. And if they see this thing making you miserable day after day after day, because that's the only part you're expressing, because all the good, happy stuff you're saving for your community, and you're not sharing the challenging things in your community. Instead, you're saving all that for your partner. Do the opposite. Share the challenging things with the community and share the positive things with your partner. It's very not obvious that that's the case, okay? Because we kind of dump on our partners until we learn not to do that. And it's unintentional. You're not trying to bring them down, but it's really important that you bring the challenges to the community, and be honest and open and vulnerable, which takes courage, as we know from Brene Brown and her research, right? So bring the good stuff to your partner. Hey, I made a sale today. Can we celebrate that? You know, it was $500, and I'm so excited because that means that somebody is interested in this business. Woo! Like, can we celebrate that together? Rather than, yeah, I made $500, but I have $10,000 in credit card that I need to pay off this month. You know, don't bring that to your partner. It's going to bring a lot of negativity, and they're going to start getting protective over you and start questioning whether or not you should be doing this. And that's what happens. That's the unintentional and unintended consequence of sharing negativity with your partner about your business. Does this make sense?
It makes total sense. And it's funny, as you're saying it, it seems like common sense. And yet, it's a really great point. I think that reminder around that, often our partner becomes that sort of dumping ground, right?
Right. Don't do that.
Yeah, where the discharge happens.
Yes.
And to recognize, like, just for a moment, when you shift positions, what that must be like for your partner, and then what perception they have of your business, of your vision, and where you're going. So
yes,
as much as it's commonsensical, like it's a
but
gap,
it's not, right?
Yeah.
And then one more thing about this, because I'm glad you brought this up. If you do need your partner's advice, okay, and this is a beautiful way to bring your partner into your vision. If you do need your partner's advice, you do it at a time that works for both of you. So you say, hey babe, I would really like your input, your brain power on this thing. Are you available for this? Okay. And then you set a time in the calendar for a half hour or an hour or something. Maybe you go for a walk and you talk about this. And you say, so here's what I need. I would love your opinion about this. Let me get the whole thing out. You can take notes while I'm talking about this. And by the end, I would love to see if you can come up with a couple of solutions or some ideas that we can go back and forth or brainstorm on. Are you available for that? Okay. And what that does is it brings your partner in. It doesn't give them decision-making capability. It doesn't say they get to tell you what to do. It doesn't say they get to, be negative and say, well, that's not going to work. You're asking for solutions. So you're being really clear up front about what you want and why you want it, right? And you want to say, I really value your opinion and you have so much great expertise in these areas. And I bet that there's a skill transference that you could probably help me with something I'm struggling with right now. Is that something you want to do? Would you like to do that? This doesn't mean you get to make any decisions. It just means that I'm going to take everything that you say into consideration, and then I'm going to make a decision from there. And that's one beautiful way to bring a partner into your business and your vision without feeling like they're going to take over, or without feeling like you have to hear and listen. You have to take their advice completely. And that way it's really honoring the boundary of your relationship with a specific time frame and boundary around, what exactly is this? And it doesn't mean you get to give me advice all the time. It means I'm asking for it right now.
Love that.
Okay. All right. So let's get back to, Paula, if you're working together, it's even more important that you have these boundaries around your timing with your partner and how and when you're going to actually have these conversations. Okay. Yes, exactly. Learning to let go of ego. Exactly. Okay, so here's the thing. It's kind of fascinating that when you're up leveling, we know you have to be outside of your comfort zone. And yet, what does that mean on a physical level? On a physical level, what does it mean to be outside of your comfort zone? And this is where you start to get to know your special little cocktail of chemicals that starts flowing in your brain and out into your system that tells you it's not safe. Okay, everybody has their own special little blend of cocktails that starts going and cascading down in your brain to say, hold on, it's not safe. This is uncharted territory. This is new territory. Everybody, watch out, okay? That's what's happening in the brain. It's sending a message, it's not safe. So I want everybody to think about this for themselves. What is it that's happening physically in your body when you know you're uncomfortable because you're growing? What's happening in your own body? What do you notice? Like, do you get sweaty under the pits? Do you get a lump in your throat? Does your belly start to, rumble or ache, or you get like butterflies in the stomach? Does your chest feel tight? Type it in the chat window. What happens for you when you know, uh-oh, I'm growing, okay? I'm uncomfortable because I'm growing. Do you get headaches? Does your jaw get tight? Does the back of your neck, does the hair on your arms stand up? Like, what happens for you what physically happens for you? Oh, good. I get tired and want to nap. Perfect. Headaches. My neck usually starts to feel like it's going to snap. That would be a total safety thing, wouldn't it be? Oh my God, my neck's going to snap. I better be careful. Okay. Who else? Put it in that chat window. This is so important because not everybody experiences up level and growth in the same way. I retreat and get into my head. Now, what does that feel like, Paula, physically? What does it feel like when you want to retreat and go into your head? Okay, Bonnie says her throat tightens. She needs to take deep breaths. Yes. Does your mouth get dry? Can you feel like everything is sensitive on your skin? Do you have to poop all the time? Like what happens? What happens for you on a physical level? I love this, Alfredo. Anxiety, want to sleep. I feel pressure, crazy sweating, especially when sleeping. Yes. All of the above, LOL, get short of breath, frantic energy. Okay, and Shelly, or Laura, what does frantic energy feel like in your body?
For me, I know when I start speaking really, really fast, and I do tend to speak quickly, but it's when I can tell, like I'll be sharing something and I'll be speaking so fast that I can't even catch my own breath.
Okay, I love it. Okay, Ernie Lee, Lulu's hair. You're hilarious. I love that. Okay, Shelly, I totally get into my head too, analyzing everything, tightness in my chest and anxiousness in my stomach. Okay, all of us have our special blend. It's phenomenal. And then it grows and changes a little bit over time, but it pretty much stays the same in a way, because your system knows, do these things, knock her out, okay? Make her so tired. She just woke up from a wonderful night's sleep. All of a sudden, even after coffee, exhausted. What happened? I want to take a nap, okay? And so here's what's happening. I want to really have everybody understand this by the end of this call, that you have a say in this. Okay, you have a say in how you co-create this dance of up level. It's a beautiful experience when you stop viewing it as an attack on you and you start viewing it as just part of your biology. Okay, so what I like to say, and you're welcome to take this on and onboard this for yourself, is it's not your fault, it's your biology. Okay, it's not my fault, it's my biology. My biology is trying to get me to stop. So here's what's happening. We have a conflict. The conflict is, I want to grow, but I don't want to feel these physical sensations. I want to grow, I want to up level, but I want to avoid this horrible feeling more than anything. I don't want to feel tired. I don't want to feel frantic. I don't want to feel that in my belly. I don't want to feel that sweating. I don't want to feel that anxiety. So the more that and some people don't want to feel it by analyzing it, okay? And so instead of feeling it, instead of feeling all of the discomfort, we make it a problem. We make it wrong. And then we spend our time and attention trying to fix what's wrong, trying to get the sleep, trying to figure out, why am I so anxious? What is going on? And you get looped into this system of, my subconscious mind got me to stop focusing on growth and start focusing on all the problems inside of my body, my thoughts, my emotions, my physical sensations. And guess what? The subconscious won. It took you out, maybe for a moment, maybe for a day. And the idea is, what would it look like? What would it feel like for you to pause long enough, once you have the awareness? Oh, this is what Marla was talking about. Hold on. Ugh, it's really uncomfortable. Wait, that's me hating it. Hold on. What does it feel like? Turn on the curiosity. What is happening? Not from trying to analyze it, from being curious. What is my special cocktail blend? Oh yeah, my throat's getting tight. Ooh, I feel a little anxious, a little out of breath. This is my biology trying to stop me from growing because it's safe to stay the same. The conflict is, you want to grow and your biology wants to keep you the same. Who's going to win? If your biology wins, you take a nap. Your biology wins, you don't make those sales calls because it's too uncomfortable. Your biology wins when you feel so upset in your physical body that you start doing something else just to off-gas that horrible feeling. What would it look like for you to be aware of all this discomfort, this physical, emotional, and mental discomfort, and still choose growth anyway? Any little thing you can do to continue to choose growth over discomfort, okay? And how does this work in relationship? It is the best training ground for growing your business. Because if you can have a very difficult, challenging conversation with your partner, free from blame, genuine curiosity about what your partner thinks, what your partner needs, what your partner wants, and trying to deal with the discomfort that's happening in you when they're telling you something unpleasant about you, you let those sensations be there. You let those negative thoughts that you want to claw their eyes out be there. You let those emotions of like, what? I do everything for this family, right? You let all of those thoughts, those emotions, those sensations, you let them be there, and you don't let them fly out your mouth. You let them be there, and you stay present with your partner, and you grow together, okay? It's a short version of that. So there's one step beyond this, which has to do with some research on rejection. Because in business, one of the things that we are the most concerned with, whether we admit it or not, is the fear of rejection. What if somebody doesn't want to buy from me? What if my business fails? What if everybody thinks I'm a loser, that it doesn't work, that my service sucks, that, you know, all of the negative thoughts that we go through in our mind when we're first starting, or even when you're starting a new program and you're launching, then you've been in business for 10 years and you start and you launch a whole new program. You're like, oh my gosh, what if people don't like it? What if people don't buy? That fear of rejection. In 2003, there was research held called cyberball. I don't know if anybody has heard of this research, but what happened was they were researching rejection with functional MRI units, and which means that you can move around. Okay, so you're not in an actual MRI machine. It's just like all these electrodes on your head and taking all your body function vital signs. And what they did was they had people throwing a ball back and forth to each other, 3 people. And what happened was the 2 people were trained that they eventually would only throw back and forth between each other.
Right.
Okay. And that the third person would be rejected, left out. And what they found was that the same places in the brain lit up in that person who was excluded and rejected as physical pain. Same location in the brain. Physical pain and rejection in the brain are interpreted as exactly the same, unless you give it the meaning that it's separate, that it's different. And it's the same thing in the brain. The pathway of fear in your brain is the same pathway as excitement in the brain. The only difference is your meaning, the meaning you make out of it, the meaning you attach to it. So you can say, oh my God, I'm so nervous to, reach out to these 12 people today that I committed to in the group, versus I'm so excited to reach out to these 12 people in the group. Okay, do you see? Oh, cool, Danielle, you were reading about this the other day. It's amazing. I mean, we literally feel rejection as physical pain. And you can feel it when somebody says, no, thank you, I don't want to work with you. There's definitely a physical sensation that happens in the body when you experience that. Or if somebody says, no, I don't want to go on that date with you, or no, I'm not available to talk about your business right now with you. All of that is a form of what we call rejection. But if we see it through a lens of choice instead, that everyone is allowed to make their own choices for their own life, and we honor those choices even if you don't like them, right? That's a different lens to look through. Okay, so let's talk about fight, flight, or freeze. Okay, so everybody has heard of the fight, flight, or freeze response. And let's talk about what happens when you're up leveling, okay? And again, I wanna encourage people, if you have a question, ask the question in the group, something personal, something about your business, anything about all of this, okay, up leveling. All right, so fight, we all kind of know what this is. The fight response is you get aggressive with something, right? The flight response is you want to get out of there. And the freeze response is you just get paralyzed. Okay, so let's talk about how that happens in up-leveling in business. So the fight response in your business, when you get activated and your first response tends to be fighting, that means that you're going to create some kind of a drama, external drama, not an internal drama, an external drama that you have to tend to. If you have typically the fight, flight, or freeze response, and fight is your go-to, you will create an like your car tire blew out. You have to address that. The system's not working. You accidentally sent the wrong email to everybody. You're going to create an external drama that must be dealt with. Okay. Those are the fighters. They create a drama so that they can experience that intensity, and then they can feel okay again. And then they will be able to pivot back to their business. So when you're going through your up level, the discomfort comes in multiple ways. Okay. So the discomfort when you're supposed to be doing these sales conversations, or you're supposed to be working on your copy, or you're supposed to be fill in the blank, and instead there's a drama you have to tend to. The plumbing got messed up and everything's flooded. Like, something is happening in your energetic field that is co-creating a dramatic experience that you need to deal with. Okay. Oh, awesome, Alfredo, that's you. Okay, perfect. Sounds familiar. Okay, awesome. Everybody has done this. Okay, so we're all in this together. Now, the flight response, this is so interesting. The flight response is a little different. It's non-dramatic distraction. So that means instead of sitting down to write your copy, you look around at your desk and you're like, this is a mess. I need to clean this whole place up before I can get started. Okay, Laura, I don't know. That might be you. I'm not sure. Okay.
I'm just laughing because I'm looking around going, this place is a mess.
Okay, so if we do that okay, good, I love it. If we tend to the mess instead of working on what we said we were going to do, the flight response won. Okay, so that's like, God, you go sit down in the bathroom, and you're going to the bathroom in there, and you look around on the floorboards, you're like, those baseboards are so dirty. They're disgusting. I need to clean that right away. Okay. And then instead of, just going to the bathroom really quick and getting back to your work, now you have to clean those floorboards. Okay. So, or you need to do the dishes, or, something non-dramatic. The fight response is for the dramatic. The non-dramatic is for the flight. You just, anything to get you out of there, anything to distract. Okay. Fabulous. Paula thinks she's both. Yes, exactly. We're all a little flavor of all of it at different times, right? Okay. The freeze response is kind of phenomenal. You feel paralyzed. You can't remember anything. You're confused. It's that fog has set in, and you're like, wait, what's my message? What am I doing? How much are my services? Like, you literally can't remember anything. And that's why I always recommend that you have, especially if you're in sales conversations with people, if you're doing any one-on-one sales conversations, always have, I believe in like old-fashioned good, pen and paper, where you have your list of prices, you have your list of services off to the side, so that when the conversation turns to, do you want to work together and you want to hear about my programs, you have it written down, because that freeze response will kick in and you'll sound ridiculous. You'll sound like, I don't know, because you're in the flow of a conversation with someone and that part of your brain is not activated. But the freeze response will take over and tell you you're worthless, you don't know what you're doing, you don't even know your prices, and it'll just take you right out. Okay, these are the ways. The fight, flight, or freeze response is how we stop ourselves from up-leveling, even in the middle of a sales conversation. Okay, and what you don't know about me necessarily is that I'm also a master salesperson. I used to have a sales program on the neuroscience of sales. So all of this relates to sales conversations. It relates to having conflict with your partner, right? Let's talk about relationship fight, flight, or freeze for a moment. Yeah, Laura.
Marla, just, and it's one of the things, and I'm sure like it technically buckets into fight, flight, or freeze, but it was something that Kelly actually pointed out to me early on in our relationship when we first met, is fight, flight, freeze, or appease. And I will and it's almost like, it's probably part of flight, but it's finding things to do, but it's all about other people. Oh, like now this week I'm going to join the PTA at the school, and I'm going to volunteer at that bake sale, and I'm going to, go over and make sure that my parents are okay, and start going into like extreme caretaking for other people.
Yes, I love that. That I put that in the category of flight, because it is a non-dramatic distraction. And I love that. So if you're a people pleaser, this is a dangerous hole to go down, right? Because there will always be someone who needs something more than you do. So if you can't put yourself first and be selfish, even arrogant with how you put yourself first, then eventually you're going to find all kinds of non-dramatic ways to be of service, which means you're getting your egoic need met. Your egoic need for being of service and helping will be met, and your bank account will be zero.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fine. It's a choice. It's just, if you're really dedicated to growing a business, then grow the business and use your service and your desire to be of service for people who are actually in an appropriate contract with you, literally a contract where you have permission to actually engage with someone in that way. Because the transforming people pleaser, all of us are people pleasers who are in the service industry at some point. And there's the shadow side of it, which is you give away your services for free and you're always helping everyone and your bank account is zero or very low, versus you know how to be of service out in the world. You earn more than you need, and therefore you can give your time away. Like, I'm on the board of directors of a charter school in Los Angeles, as Ernie mentioned. And the reason I can do that for free is because I have the time and the resources to be able to do that. Right? You don't do that when you are not even feeding yourself, right? Yeah, thank you for bringing that in. I love that.
And yeah, Bonnie, so Bonnie just jumped in and said, yeah, I'm a people pleaser. Yes, you were. Yes, it was very tiring.
Yes. So let's talk about that as well. So the tiring thing, the freeze, the combo of flight and freeze makes you want to go to sleep. Okay, so you will find that not only do you not have the urgency and the excitement of like, ooh, I really want to do the copy for this thing right now. I really want to write out this article, or you just won't have any drive for anything, and you will feel foggy, and you will feel like, God, maybe it's a better use of my time to actually get refreshed and just sleep it off a little bit. So if that's the case and you have that combo happening, all you want to do is you want to say to yourself, okay, I am going to take a 30-minute nap, and I'm going to set my alarm, and the alarm is going to have a different sound than what I wake up to. Very important. You don't want to have the same sound as what you wake up to in the morning, because it will be very confusing and disorienting when you wake up. Okay. You want to make sure you're waking up from a nap to something that's different from your morning bell. Okay. Well, hopefully nobody uses a bell, but in any case, so when you're waking up from a nap, put a song on or something, you can program your phone or an alarm clock. And so take a 30-minute nap and say to yourself before you go to sleep, I'm going to rest. Even if I don't sleep, I'm just going to rest my body and rest my mind and let myself just sink into the bed and take 30 minutes of just nothing. And let yourself just breathe and feel your body and relax into the bed and sink into the bed. And if you actually sleep, great. And if you don't, great. And at the end of those 30 minutes, the alarm goes off and you get up no matter what. And you get up and you tell yourself, I'm going to be refreshed when I get up. And that way you're setting yourself up for success. And even if you're not completely refreshed, you want to get up anyway and say, well, that was my time. And I allowed myself to go, take a break for a little bit, like, especially if you're fighting off a little something, you're feeling a little under the weather, give yourself that 30 minutes and then go ahead. Okay. So that's the one thing I wanted to say is if you find yourself really tired, you want to definitely give yourself a little short break, but with boundaries. Okay. And if you find yourself doing that every day, then you might be making a habit out of that. So you want to, maybe think about what food you're intaking. And if you're eating too much sugar and you're having a crash, or if you're having too much coffee and then you're having a crash. So you want to check out those other things. Okay. So I would love to open this up for some questions and some direct one-on-one action here so that we can talk about actual experiences in up-leveling. So what is something that you have been wanting to do that you have not been able to get yourself to do? Or what is something that you found yourself with an opportunity and you then didn't move forward on it? So I'd love to help a couple of people unpack their challenge in up-leveling.
I think one of the questions that we get or comes up is how do you decipher between a distraction and an opportunity?
Great, great question. Okay, so I'm glad you asked me that. So that brings me to why you always need to have two visions at any given time. You need to have a long-term vision of seeing yourself as this phenomenal being out in the world, you know, with X in the bank account, and, you know, how you're serving these people and the relationship you have and your health, that big vision, and a short-term vision that you're actually working towards right now. Because when you're in a down or you're in confusion, this big vision is laughable by the ego. The ego's like, oh, that's so cute. You think you're gonna do that? Oh, look, you should take a nap, honey. Okay, so, right? I mean, anyone relate? I don't know. Maybe it's
That
just me.
doesn't sound familiar at all.
Okay, right. Okay, good. Whew. Okay. You know, so that big vision is ridiculous when you're challenged. Okay. That's when you get to your daily goal, your weekly goal, your 30-day goal, and your 90-day goal, right? So you need to have that short-term vision so that you can anchor yourself to something. Like, what is your daily goal? What are you supposed to be accomplishing on a daily basis? What does your morning look like? Do you do your gratitude practice? What are you feeding yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically, right? What's happening on a daily basis? And how could you schedule your daily life so that it actually moves you towards your 90-day goal and your big vision goal? Okay, so in order to actually accomplish that, you have to have these two different visions. And then, so ask your question again, Kelly.
How do you decipher between what is a distraction and what is an opportunity?
Okay, so distraction and opportunity. If you have your short-term vision and your long-term vision, and you can feel where they're aligned, okay? So the short-term vision gives you a little more, bumpers. Like, basically what I'm saying is the thing that's coming your way, the opportunity that's coming your way, is either in alignment with your short-term and long-term vision, or it's not. If it's not going to serve you in some way towards your short-term or long-term vision, it's a no. It's just a question. Is this going to bring me closer to my goal with more grace, more ease, more joy, and more flow, or not? And if it's not, you gracefully, joyfully say, thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm going to pass on that opportunity, and I'm sure that the exact right person is going to come and meet you for that, right? Because there are more opportunities out there than we can receive. Mm-hmm. We can't receive all the opportunity. But if you're busy saying yes, yes, yes to all these things, but you're not really mindfully, heartfully thinking about it and feeling it and imagining, okay, so if I do this thing, and this is hard for those of us who are good at a lot of things, mm-hmm. right? And you enjoy a lot of things. I'm one of those people. I have to always ask myself, is this an alignment? Is this going to get me closer to my vision or not? Right?
Yeah, I think
love
I'm
that.
very, very similar in a lot of ways, right? I'm good at a lot of things. I like to do a lot of things. What I found, and it's exactly what you're saying, once I really got focused on who I want to serve and what that vision looks like, it really became a lot easier to ask those questions, right? So, you know, in one of our programs, we're really pushing our participants to really get clear on dream client, right? And mm-hmm. the dream solution for that individual. And so it's not just about the dream, like the client themselves, it's about what you're saying, right? Get really clear on your vision, your mission, and then the opportunity to weigh everything that comes in against that becomes so much clearer.
Yes. And this is one way you can include your partner. You can say, hey, babe, here's my short-term vision. Here's my long-term vision. This is the opportunity that has come my way. Do you feel like this is in alignment with that? Or do you feel like this is me kind of offshooting? And honestly, this is one of the reasons why people hire coaches. One of the reasons people hire high-level coaches is because they put the bumpers on you. Okay. So when someone hires me privately, I put the bumpers on you. You don't have to wonder if it's in alignment with your vision. You bring it to me and I will let you know if it's in alignment with your vision, right? Because we've co-created that and we co-create those boundaries. I just help you stay within them, right? In your relationship, in your business. So, you know, another question to ask, let's just go into more of the fight, flight, or freeze response again, okay? Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, great, I'm aware of it, now what? Okay, great. I got all this like really unpleasant, uncomfortable sensation and emotion and thoughts going on inside of me. Now what? Okay, great. Thanks, Marla. Now I'm aware of it. And that's even more painful because I'm aware of it. Okay, so what do I do with that? So here's the idea. You have an internal dialogue with yourself. And the dialogue is like this. Wow, first of all, I'm so grateful that I can be aware that I have all these really unpleasant sensations happening. So I'm going to ask myself, instead of hating on those sensations and making them wrong, which only causes more discomfort, I want to ask, how is this serving me? How are these sensations and these thoughts serving me in my vision? And how can I learn to love this process? Because it's like this. So what wasn't in the bio, there was a lot of things that were not in the bio, amazingly, okay? But I was a doula for many years, helping women through labor and delivery of their babies and postpartum, okay? So I come from that world. That was my, I was a body worker, and I came from the healing arts world in my early 20s. And so when I was in labor and delivery with a woman, what would happen was she would go through a contraction, and there's a certain amount of pain that goes along with that. If it's an unmedicated experience, a certain amount of pain. Actually, it's just sensation, but we interpret it in our mind as pain. But people who go through hypnotherapy and hypnobirthing experience contractions as actual just intense sensation and not actual pain. Okay, but that's just an aside. So most women experience the contraction as physical pain. This is the uterus clamping down. Okay, that's what this is. Okay, so the uterus is having a contraction, clamping down, and the woman experiences that as physical pain. If she adds emotional pain on top of that, so here's the level of physical pain. If she adds emotional pain on top of that, of, oh my God, this is so painful. How long is this gonna last? I've been in that labor for 10 hours. I don't know if I can do this anymore. All those thoughts, all the emotions, now the pain level has gone up. Does this make sense? Now, we all do this with our business. There's a certain amount of physical, emotional, and mental discomfort happening, and how much we focus on it and make it worse is how much we are moving away from our growing goals. So the idea is observe it without reacting to it, okay? And so my background is also, I'm a Vipassana meditator. And so I've been sitting, Vipassana's 10-day silent meditation retreats where they teach you how to observe the physical sensations in your body without reacting to them. So I've been doing this since 2003. I've sat 20 10-day sits, okay, in my life. And so the idea is that if you could just feel all of this sensation in your body and say, oh, I am, okay, this is something that Julian's my love, life, and business partner. Julian and I came up with the other day, and it was around actually receiving more and more pleasure, okay? So I was experiencing pleasure, too much pleasure, as uncomfortable, okay? And then I wanted to push away. And instead of uncomfortable, and this is the same thing for when you're experiencing unpleasant sensations, pleasant or unpleasant, it doesn't matter. At some point it becomes uncomfortable, which means it's full of sensation, which means it's sensational.
Love that.
It's sensational.
Yeah.
It's sensational. It's the same thing of like fear to excitement in the pathway, in the same pathway. Yeah. Your choice. Same pathway, your choice. I think that's kind of amazing. I'm going to say it again. Uncomfortable. That's what we all experience. Every human experiences it as discomfort until you shift it to, wow, I'm filled with sensation right now. Let me observe that. Wow, it's like really intense here, less intense here, less intense, and I don't feel it in my hands, right? Getting curious about where is that intensity filled with sensation, which means it's sensational. Shift it to sensational and then expand. And we're always talking about how do I increase my capacity to receive? Yeah. Well, if you only want to receive the good, guess what? Nice try. It's not going to happen. If you want to receive more, get ready to receive more of everything, because it's receiving the spectrum of what's available, which means great joy and great discomfort. And you learn how to navigate the entire spectrum of those worlds, the whole spectrum, without losing the balance of your mind, with being able to stay focused, laser focused on your goals, your dreams, your vision, your relationship, and receiving all of that.
Yeah, I love that, Marla. And this is something that we talk about too, right? We can't selectively numb. We can't numb the discomfort or the bad stuff without inherently numbing all of the, like, the opposite end of that spectrum. So if we want to feel joy and unconditional love and ecstasy, we have to be willing to be in the depths of the pain when the pain does show up.
Yes, Khalil Gibran, right? The greatest joy, the greatest sorrow. You have to experience both. Same thing why chemotherapy works. Chemotherapy kills all the unhealthy cells. It also kills the healthy cells, right? So you can't pick and choose. Although I do have to say, I do have a technique called selective amnesia, which is a technique in relationship where you just selectively choose to forget, data dump the things that you've been clinging to and holding on to that were negative. So I'm just going to say there is a little, you can choose to selectively amnesia yourself. But other than that, you can't choose. If you're going to say, I am available to receive, be available to fully receive and stop judging what you're receiving. Okay, let's see this. Yes, love Vipassana. And Paula says contrast. Yes. Okay, so let's see. Daniela, what is an elegant way to curtail an ongoing conversation where a potential client is resisting moving forward in a professional capacity? I'm currently grappling with an imbalance, wanting to respect my worth and my value and wanting to preserve the opportunity to help them, if not now, then perhaps later. I love this question. Can we bring Daniela on screen? Daniela, are you available for that? Everyone's like, I wasn't planning on that. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's a great question.
Daniela, let me see if this works.
Yeah.
Are you there?
Something's happening.
Yeah, and I'm a total wreck today. So.
Yay! Hi, Daniela. Fabulous question. Fabulous question. Okay, so what have you already done? So, okay, I'm just going to be very transparent here. I'm a master coach. I've been coaching for 25 years. So when someone brings something to you, the first thing is like asking them about their mastery. What have you already done? Okay, because if I just start giving her advice right off the bat, sometimes it'll land, but usually it'll go in the filter of like, I've already tried that. I've already tried that. I've already tried that. I've already done that. So I want to find out from you, what have you already done in this particular case?
So what I've already done is had the initial, literally Starbucks conversation that turned into a sales conversation and resulted in a QCP session. The QCP session happened last Friday. And there's a whole lot there to unpack in clinical supervision. When the QCP session was booked, there was also a discussion around a possible breakthrough. And I believe that this particular individual would be tremendously served by doing a breakthrough, at least one.
So Danielle, I'm just going to, so Marla, just for context, QCP is one of the modalities we practice. It's a one-time session. It's incredibly powerful. It's about 3 hours long. There's energy work and clearing and mirror work around forgiveness and compassion and understanding and release. A breakthrough then is a, say, 6-week process with all of the tools. It's sort of like the highest sort of offering that our coaches do, where they take like one significant area of somebody's life where they're experiencing challenges and break through it.
Okay, thank you. Fantastic. So this person said, Daniela, have they said, oh, I really want to do this, but they're not moving forward with signing on? Or are they still in the, I'm not sure I want to do this?
They were very interested in doing a breakthrough and indicated that there were some financial concerns. They needed to get their ducks in a row before agreeing to move forward. I had a follow-up conversation, like post QCP, with this individual yesterday. And There was acknowledgement that yes, definitely there were tremendous shifts since Friday. And there was also an awful lot of intellectualizing what's going on in her world.
Okay, I'm going to pause you right there for a second.
Yeah.
So I want you to understand this from the context of what we're talking about today, okay? Because this is how to gain massive empathy for your current and potential clients, okay? Because in this context of the neuroscience of upleveling, everyone who goes through this process is basically signing on for an uplevel, right? An uplevel of how they're living their life.
Mm-hmm.
Every client you take on is going through this fight, flight, or freeze process. They're going through the fear of rejection. They're going through this is what they're experiencing. So what do you feel she's experiencing in fight, flight, or freeze in regards to this?
Well, I think she has a tremendous amount to offer. And I also know that she's battling, since childhood, illness has been her way of getting the attention that she's not getting that she needs. Illness has been an excuse for a lot of things, a reason why I can't thus and so, a reason why I can't be responsible for that. I need someone to take care of me, on and on and on.
And which one is that? Fight, flight, or freeze? What is illness? When people manifest illness,
It's dramatic, so it's got to be fight.
it's a dramatic distraction, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? A dramatic distraction. So if she's creating a dramatic distraction, then the question is, and you might have already asked her this question, you know, who would you be without the illness?
Yeah.
And are you willing to experience the massive discomfort that will come from basically letting go of your main form of security?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they can't even imagine themselves without the illness, right? Like, what would your daily life look like? What would the people in your life, how would they be responding to you? You know, if you're not getting your need for interaction met and love and attention and affection met from having an illness, how would you be getting it met? Can you imagine that, right? And so I'm just going to kind of jump ahead a little bit here, which is when someone says yes and then waffles, first of all, they may not see the value in doing the work.
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, you see the value, and we all see the value in doing the work, but they need to see the value in doing the work, which means in the conversation you have, you ask her, what is the value of you doing this work? You just straight up ask. You don't have to like skirt around it or anything, you know, like what would it mean to you to actually do this and come through to the other side of this process? And what are the potential challenges you're going to face while doing that? This is where people are selling and they're not necessarily helping the potential client to navigate the challenges that are going to arise when they step into this work, right? If you teach her how to completely let go of all of the, you know, things that she needs to forgive and on all of that, oh my God, who's she going to be? That's terrifying to the ego. I know who I am when I have my grudges. Who am I if I have no grudges? Oh my gosh. That's experiencing receiving. And it's so massively uncomfortable. Full expansion is so uncomfortable because it's filled with sensation, which means it's actually sensational. Okay, so they have to see the value in doing it. And then they have to have the desire to step into it and be in the unknown and be guided by you. So I always say in a sales conversation, you have to get to 3 yeses. A yes for doing the work. So whether you hire me or you hire somebody else, are you a yes for doing this work? Do you want this? Do you want to let go of forgiveness? Like, do you want to let go of your grudges? Do you want to come out of this habit pattern of illness? Are you a full yes for that? What's in the way? You can't move forward with any pricing or anything if they're not a full yes for the work, okay? Even if they don't fully understand what the work is. Then the second yes is, are you a yes for me? Like, you want to do this with me. You want to go through this process with me. You see the value in doing it with me. That's the second yes. What concerns do you have about me as your guide here? Tell me. Be honest. Tell me. I want to know. They may be valid. They may not be valid. I want to know, what are the concerns you have about working with me? When I ask that question in a sales conversation, people usually say, well, you're kind of intense. And I go, you are correct. You are so spot on. Well, I'm afraid that you're going to push me into things that I don't want to do. Yes, I will definitely push you. And I will push you right into your greatness if you allow me to, but I will never push you into anything you don't want to do. We will agree on everything moving forward. And as soon as you agree to it, then yes, I will push. I will push, okay? Because I'm in service of the vision flowing through you, not to you personally. Okay? So that's the second yes is, do you want to do this with me? Meaning, will you surrender into me and my guidance? And the third yes is a yes for the financial commitment. They could be a yes for the work, a yes for you, and a big no for the financial commitment, because that means that they're actually a yes for doing the work. And a lot of people use money as the excuse, but everyone has access in the free world, in the Western world, we all have access to money. We just don't always have the urgency to make it happen, because we're scared that it's going to actually cause more chaos in a new unknown way than the current chaos we have. Right? I'd rather just stick with the chaos I know versus the chaos I don't know. Okay, is this helpful, Daniela?
Yes, it is.
Do you have any follow-up comment or question?
Well, I am literally, after last night's conversation that was interrupted by a power out. I'm on the cusp of literally having that time to tinkle or get off the potty conversation, and I wasn't sure how to quite go about doing that.
Okay, let me.
These questions are really helpful.
Okay, great. I'm going to also give just like a couple of one-liners for that. Okay, so everybody has that from time to time. Like, hey, you know, like do this or don't do this, but stop wasting my time. But you're not going to say it like that. Okay,
No.
So it's more like this. It's like, look, I just want to acknowledge that this is a very important decision. I really value this work so deeply, and I can feel that this is really challenging for you to be a full yes for right now. So I just want to let you know, when you're ready to move forward, just reach out again, okay? Because I can feel you're not really a full yes in this moment, and that's totally fine. Let's just, you know, if I'm not correct in my assessment here, please let me know. If you really are ready to move forward, I would love to do that with you. It feels like you're not. You're hesitating for one reason or another. It doesn't matter what that reason is. But when you are ready to move forward, I would love to and be honored to be the guide to help you with this.
Very cool.
Okay. It's such a loving, gracious way to acknowledge there is fear, there is concern, there is doubt, there is worry, right? Without naming any of those things, and make it very loving and gracious. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Thank you, Daniela. I see another question here too. Okay. Paula, when you are in business with your partner, how do you restart, refresh when you have already patterns in place that aren't serving your business or relationship? Setting vision and goals and execution, handling day-to-day issues and challenges that are a part of your lives together. Bam, right?
Paula,
Nobody can relate. Yeah, let's bring Paula on. Yeah, Paula, everyone can relate to that. It's a great question.
Hi, Paula.
Hi, Paula. Awesome. Okay, so go ahead and unmute yourself.
There
Great.
we are.
Yay. Okay, so can you speak to something specific, a specific pattern, so that I can actually help you navigate something specific?
Yeah, I think we're caught in a loop. So I created a business that my husband actually took over when he retired, and he decided to run, but he kind of wanted to do things his way. And so I kind of gave him that and kind of stood in the background and whatever, but things haven't been going very well. So sales have been, you know, headed downwards, and we're going backwards. So the problem is I see a lot of things because of my skill set. And what I really recognize is he's just not in the same awareness at all of things. And so it's really difficult for me to kind of go in. It's a retail shop, and it's really difficult for me to go in because I can go bang, 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 like what's going on with this, and I feel like I'm catching him in all these mistakes all the time, and it's just turned into this big negative pattern with us. And he is, even though in the beginning he was very defensive about his position, I know he's like, what I'm recognizing now is he's actually scared because of what's going on with the numbers.
Yeah.
And but he just doesn't know what to do.
Okay.
And he's like, we're losing ground big time in our relationship as well as in our business.
Okay. And can you just briefly tell me, how is it impacting your relationship? What's happening?
Well, I think a lot of it ends up in our home. Right, because we have staff, so we do a lot at home. So it starts to become discussion in and out of the day, and there's no, we don't have boundaries. I've tried to say to him, let's have a meeting once a week, and he's just being, in the meeting like this, and just negative, and it's just not moving forward. So I just need to try another strategy.
Yeah,
and, it's just not working, and it's in our day every day.
Does he get like that in other areas as well? Like if he feels pushed against the wall, does he shut you out like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your side of that pattern? What do you do when he shuts you out?
Sometimes I just turn around, go the other way. I just do things myself, or I flight, I guess.
Okay. So you probably just handle it.
Sometimes I flight.
Yeah. Okay. Fabulous. I love it.
Sometimes I rip from a whole different area of his body.
Okay. So sometimes you'll go into the fight. Okay. So good. It's good to have that awareness. First, I just want to say thank you for bringing this question in, because I think it's such an important question that people deal with and nobody really wants to talk about it. Okay. When you are in business with your partner in any capacity, it impacts your home life, period. You're living in the same home and you're dealing with business. And from time to time, a thought arises, oh my God, we got to do this. And you just, blurt it out. Okay. Yeah. And then it causes chaos in ways you didn't intend to. You just had a question, Yeah. So, do you want to run that business again?
You know what? it's not where my passion is right now, but I almost feel that I might have to take more reins just financially, but I just don't know what that's going to look like. And that's been my whole problem. I've been sitting on the seesaw for a long time.
Okay.
And
I'm going to pause you here. Okay. So, and thank you. I do a lot of interrupting just for time's sake and just because, I have a train that I'm going on with you. So I'm hearing the answer was no, you do not want to run this business. You would out of obligation or out of necessity, but you don't, it's not a desire. You're not like, yes, give me that business. I want to take that all on again. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Perfect. So, so do you have another business that is bringing in money that you don't have to worry about money, or is this the business that brings in all the money?
No, this is the business right now that brings in the money. And, part of that is because I haven't really moved into any of the areas that are out there.
Okay. So this is a nice, beautiful, complex story here, right? So if we kind of just objectively look at the whole storyline, we can see that you are using him being not, what's the word I'm looking for? Competent enough to run that business to make it a successful financial business. You're using that. This is a sort of a spiritual lens to look at this. Okay. So a wide view. There's a part of you that's using him and how he's showing up in that business that's stopping you from moving forward in yours.
Yeah.
Okay. In your dream, in your goals. That's the fight. Okay, so using a dramatic distraction. It is a dramatic distraction to have a business that your partner's running that he's kind of running into the ground. That's dramatic. That is not a non-dramatic experience, okay? And so there's something in you that gets a dopamine hit, a happy chemical, when you can help solve a problem. So dopamine comes in lots of ways. We can use dopamine on Facebook and when we're scrolling and going like, ooh, I'm doing great, or I got this many likes, but it can turn very quickly into like, ooh, they're doing better than I am, right? And so we can have that same experience at home with our partner, which is, you know, oh, I can help him with this one thing. I feel good, dopamine hit. And then you start looking and you're like, look at all these problems. And now I get a different kind of chemical. I get the stress hormone. I get my cortisol release. And so I get my fight, flight, or freeze response activated. And that's what the ego wants. The ego wants you to get activated and fight, flight, or freeze. It doesn't care which combo you use, as long as you get activated, because as soon as you're activated, you will no longer focus on your growth and your goals. You will only focus on cleaning up these messes.
Hey,
What
did
are you
everybody
hearing?
just get that?
It's kind of great.
I really, like, did everybody just?
I hope that's landing. Paula, what did you
Yeah.
hear from what I just said?
Yeah, I agree.
What do you agree to? What are you hearing?
That basically I'm using that as a distraction from pursuing what I should be doing.
Yes. And how does that feel to land in you?
Well, I think I've recognized it, obviously.
Yeah. Where do you feel it in your body?
What do I feel?
Where do you feel it in your body?
In my heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you breathe into that and send love into that space that is feeling more sensation? You deserve a lot of compassion for experiencing that. This is not an easy situation you're in. I would probably do the same thing. Attend to that, attend to that. It's important.
Yeah.
Okay. This awareness is the biggest gift you can give yourself. Ready? Everybody breathe. You know, it's so tender because the vision of where you're going needs your attention too. It really does. It really does. Okay. So are you in a place that we can also go back and focus this? So I can give you some guidance on how to deal with your husband?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, great. So I just want you to all to notice that as Paula had this arise and she felt it, she's not trying to shove it down. She's allowing it to come up and out. By the way, cortisol, stress hormone, gets released through our tears. Well done, celebration. Tears are a celebration. That when we have the courage to feel all of that sensation, that's when you really open the door to a sensational life. Truly, truly. Okay.
So
come on. Yes, yes. So, and your guides are fabulous, right? You've got Laura and Kelly and Ernie, and you've got this whole community. You're doing fantastic. So let's look at your husband. You recognize that he's in fear. Have you said that to him yet in any way or no?
not specifically. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Say.
So the idea here is that if you approach him, like you said, you already know this. If I approach him in a new way, then maybe he'll listen. Maybe he'll get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that is the idea, because, you know, bringing something new in, not just the, I'll handle it myself, or, you know, or, you know, rah, 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 right? Not handling it in the same old ways, handling it in a new way, a collaborative way, a co-creation way, a way where both of you are kind of like, I'm not sure what to do. Let's look at this together. And I call that, in relationship, it's never that you or your partner is the problem. It's always you and your partner versus the problem. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so you can literally use that with him. You can say, look, babe, I know you've been working hard. Like, give him some acknowledgement. I know you've been really trying to make this business work. I want to talk about the business from a brainstorming perspective with you. on truly what can we do, what kind of help you need in order for the business to be successful again, if that's even what we want. If that's, I don't even know if we even want that anymore. Like, I want to have a conversation with you where we can both be messy, and it can be even a little ugly at times, but by the end, we both feel more connected, more bonded, more loving towards ourselves and each other. That even if where we go and where we navigate in the conversation is kind of ugly, that we come to this at the end together and feel like, yes, we came up with something together. Are you down for that? Would you do that with me? I'm sure it won't be totally comfortable because we have to look at some things that are, you know, not pleasant, like the numbers and what's happening and all of that. But I really do believe that we could, with our brain power together, we could either salvage what we've got and find a new way together, or we could figure out how to scrap this business completely and just like go all in on my vision or do something totally different. I don't even know. I just don't even know. I want to have this conversation with you where I'm not guiding it, and neither are you. We're just kind of in it together. Is that something you would do with me?
Yes.
Yay, Ernie. Ernie's in. Ernie's in.
Brilliant.
I love it, right? Paula, could you see yourself saying something like that to him?
Yeah, I could.
How do you feel he would respond?
I think he'll be fearful, and I think I don't know, actually. I think he'll be really, I think he might be relieved if I approach it that way, because it's a change from, I mean, I've done pieces of it, but not with the same openness.
Yeah.
And I think he always feels like I come up with the answers.
So right.
I think that's the thing. It's like, okay, so what next? I feel the responsibility of it, right?
Right. Okay, here's the thing. I've dealt with this in my relationship as well, okay? Because first of all, it was my business when I started it, and then he joined the business, okay? And so I had to train myself in actually including him in decision-making, because I would just continue to just make decisions, and then he'd be like, babe, I need to be part of that decision-making process too. And I was like, whoops, I forgot, I thought you would just be a yes, no, it's actually a conversation. So having your partner take over your business or include him in the business in any way is a skill set to navigate. If you come to him with, you know what, babe, I know it seems like I know it all. I know it seems like I know where to go with this, but truly I don't. I really don't know what to do with this. And I really want to experience with you us working together to figure out what we want to do with this business, because I can see how much stress it's causing you. I know how much stress it's causing me. And I do have some ideas that I'd love to bring to the table. And then I'd love to hear what you think and what you want. And is this your vision and purpose in life or not? Is it close and you want to do something? Should we sell it? Can we, do we want to bump it up so that we can at least sell it? Like, what do we want to do? I don't even know. So if you come with the humbleness of, I don't know what to do, I need you. I need you to be a we in this so we can figure this out together. And now that's a completely different opening for him, because you are capable and you could figure it out yourself, but you'd be missing that special flavor that he brings that makes it just even better. It took me a long time with Julian to realize that when I truly collaborate with him, everything is better. Everything I do is better. Even if his name is not on it, his name is on everything I do. You see? And valuing him.
And I feel bad because he feels like he's not riding winning horse anymore.
Right.
Right. That was kind of at the top of the game when he got on the horse, right?
So let's look at this. Let's deconstruct that statement. I feel bad because he's not riding a winning horse anymore. So now you're using his experience in business to harm yourself. And one of the things that Julian and I say to each other, which is quite annoying from time to time, just FYI, is you don't have permission to use me to harm yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have permission for that.
Yeah.
So, and it's so hard. It's like, but I want to, you know, like my ego wants to. You see?
Well, and it's a pattern, right?
And it's a pattern.
Yeah.
So this is a beautiful opportunity for you to make a big shift in genuinely calming yourself into the humbleness that you really have inside of you. I feel that deep humbleness that you have. Let him feel it. Let him feel it. Include him and do it together so that you can navigate these next steps together. You need him and his support and love and encouragement for this new venture. And you've been unintentionally in the drama over here to stop yourself from doing that. But if you can help clean this up with him together enough so that he also can support you in this, you're going to experience a whole new trajectory.
Mm.
How does that feel?
I think part of it for me is I haven't figured out what this is yet as well. And that's been a conundrum for me for quite a while. And that's what keeps me stuck, obviously. And going
That's
back.
the loop.
Yeah.
That's the loop. And you can, one thing that would be really beautiful if you want to do this is to choose to share with him this. I want to let you know, babe,
I thought about
I have been unintentionally, unknowingly, unconsciously getting all mixed up in the business that you're trying to run over here and using it as a way to stop myself from moving towards my vision. And I don't want to do that anymore. I really want you to have success here if that's what you want. And I want support and love and encouragement over here. I want to shift this whole thing. Can we do this? Would you do that with me? You see? Okay. Very, very beautiful. Thank you so much, Paula, for volunteering. It's a beautiful expression here.
Thank you.
Okay,
Marla,
wonderful. Yes.
absolutely precious. Your skill level at relationship and intimacy is astounding. I so appreciate what you offer human beings, and what just happened here with Paula is testimony to how wonderful you are. And
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor. It really is. This is one of the things I love so much, is to help people with their actual issues, like laser focus in, so you can really genuinely feel it and make a change. Just make a little change, just a little one, and that's going to have a big effect, right? So if anyone wants to connect with me, personally or professionally, I have, all the, social media. The Intimacy Experts is my Instagram handle. And then on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter is just Marla Mattenson. And it's a truly an honor to be sharing in this community.
Wonderful. And I love that message. I mean, there were so many poignant messages today. But I think the one that's resonating with me is sensation is sensational.
Isn't it amazing?
And that's the door to a sensational life. I absolutely love that.
Thank you. It's my new favorite thing. It really is. I had a genuine experience that really just blew all my socks off, the doors off, everything got blown off, and, in the best way. And it was like, it's so uncomfortable because it's filled with sensation. And the mindset shift to sensational is like, oh, that's how you really do it. And I've been building up to this in my life for 25 years, And so I really want to invite all of us to experience the sensational aspects of our life, instead of making anything wrong or bad. Go, how can this be sensational? I need to be willing to receive all the sensations, right? And I am. That's how to live a turned on life, truly. Wonderful. Also, if anybody wants, I have I don't send very many emails out on my list, but if you want to, at marlamattenson.com, my download is called the Relationship Redo, and it's how to rewire your brain in the middle of or after a conflict, even 10 years later, okay, with your partner. And it's just about how to redo a conversation that you had that you didn't show up so amazingly and what to do about it. So anybody's welcome to get that as a free PDF.
Fantastic. Well, everyone knows where to find you online, so that's wonderful. And thank you for sharing those resources. That's amazing. And hey, you're coming to Toronto
Yay!
in a few weeks, so we'll see you at the Archangel Summit. I imagine many people who are on this call or who are going to watch the replay are going to be there, so I get a chance to listen as well.
Yes, please, please come and say hello to me at Archangels and let me know that you're from this group, because that would be very meaningful for me.
They'll show up as huggers, Marla.
Oh, good. I'm a big hugger.
Marla, thank you so much. Yeah, just echoing what Ernie said. I adore you. I get so much. And but the relationship redo, it's so good. Like it's just so good. It's simple, but it's wonderful. So I think everybody should jump on and download that. And yeah, thank you so much. I can't wait to see you in person.
Yes. You know, let me just say what the redo is real quick. We have a couple of minutes. I'm just going to say it. I don't want people to be on a cliffhanger, but if you want to get the real full download, then go ahead to do that. So basically, you know, you realize you show up in a conflict with your partner. You're, you know, like rah, 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 about the dishes or something ridiculous, or even a big thing. And you realize that, oh, I'm not showing up so great. So you ask your partner, hey, can I get a redo? Can I get a redo? That's not how I want to show up with you. And then both of you make the decision together to say, okay, we're both going to show up as our best selves for this reenactment of the exact same scenario, but with a new outcome, where we're bringing our sparkly eyes and our shiny hearts and our love to each other. And then we go, okay, here we go. And you just like reenact the exact same thing, but in your best selves. And then you go through that, and then you, instead of having the memory of, oh God, I didn't do so great there, you have that memory, and then you go, and then I redid it. And I showed up like a boss, and I felt fabulous afterwards, and we hugged and we smiled and we loved each other. And so that's the new memory that gets laid down, so that you don't beat yourself up for showing up in that way in the first place. Instead, you celebrate that you showed up in the most loving way you can together afterwards. So that's the basic, you know, how to do a redo. We use it with colleagues, with relationship, with children, with, you know, anyone. You can do a redo. I have a friend who did a redo of a sales conversation. He showed up really weird in a sales conversation, called the guy the next day and said, can I get a redo on our sales conversation? And he signed that guy. I mean, that is courage. It was I've never done that, but that's amazing.
Love that. That's the second time today that I've heard that concept. Laura reminded me this morning about, because you know, I constantly talk about, like, you can always circle back.
Yes.
Right? You can always circle back around, and it simplifies it, just calling it a redo.
Yeah. There's no expiration date, you know, and it eliminates the need to say, I'm sorry.
Right.
Because saying I'm sorry doesn't actually heal anything.
Right.
It really doesn't. Right. Saying I'm sorry is just, you know, making you into a victim and them into a perpetrator. Mm-hmm. But actually redoing it is a totally different story.
Love that.
Yeah.
I've done it with
I'm totally going to use that now, like mommy redos too.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Like 5 in the past week.
Yeah, we totally do redos in this house.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed being here. And Paula, especially thank you to you and Daniela for coming on, for, you know, really being vulnerable and sharing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Marla.
Okay. See you all in Toronto. I will bring a sweater. Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Love that.